All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So we've got a lot of interesting stories for you guys today. So the first story is about Big Ramy. Surprise, surprise. So Big Ramy put up a post on Instagram 18 hours ago, basically giving an update on how much he's weighing. So he posted this picture on the scale, and the scale is at 143.7 kilograms, which translates to about 316.8 pounds. So the caption on this photo essentially says that during this month when he's fasting, he's trying to put size back on, I guess from that shoulder injury preventing him from training. He's trying to get back to where he was. Obviously, in some recent pictures, he looked downsized. So it looks like right now he's kind of in the process of rebuilding his physique and trying to put some size back on. And that would suggest to me that everything we've heard so far about Big Ramy not doing the Tampa Pro and Big Ramy not doing the 2019 Olympia and just sitting out the rest of the year, that would suggest to me that that's probably true. If Big Ramy right now is kind of still in an off-season mode where he's trying to put on size and trying to rebuild his physique, it would suggest to me that he's probably not going to be prepping for the Tampa Pro and cutting down anytime soon. Now, after the news came out about Big Ramy not doing Tampa and potentially sitting out the 2019 Olympia, Big Ramy put up a series of posts on Instagram suggesting that the shoulder injury wasn't that big of a deal. He was still able to train. He was still able to train heavy, and possibly suggesting that he might still be trying to qualify for the 2019 Olympia. Now, again, I would say based on everything that we're seeing so far, it would likely suggest to me that we're probably not going to see Big Ramy at the Tampa Pro versus Dexter Jackson. Dexter's probably going to pick up an easy win in Tampa, add yet another title to his already very impressive bodybuilding resume. He's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. And Big Ramy's probably not going to be at the Olympia. If we don't see him at the Tampa Pro, we're not going to see him at the Olympia. That's just the fact of the matter. And it is unfortunate. And I would like to see Big Ramy at the Tampa Pro. And people were kind of sending me this photo and reacting to it and say, oh man, Big Ramy's getting heavy again. He's playing the size game. If you guys remember last year at the Olympia, he was 310 pounds, or at least he said he was 310 pounds at one day out from the Olympia. I believe it was at the press conference on Thursday or it was on Friday before the Olympia last year that he said he was 310 pounds just a day away from the show. So to me, weighing 316 pounds months out from potentially doing the Tampa and months out from potentially doing the Olympia isn't saying to me that Big Ramy's too heavy or Big Ramy's playing the size game or Big Ramy's getting too big. 316 pounds on Big Ramy in the offseason is really not that much. And that sounds crazy to say because a 300-plus pound bodybuilder is massive. But for Big Ramy, 316 pounds is really not overdoing it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this means we're not going to see Big Ramy in Tampa and we're not going to see him at the Olympia? Because again, to the best of my knowledge, I would say that everything is pointing in that direction, that Big Ramy is not doing the 2019 Olympia, even though he kind of suggested that he might be. I think it's highly unlikely we're going to see Big Ramy at the 19 Olympia. Now, next up in the news, we had two really big shows this past weekend, or two relatively big pro shows that kind of split up the competitors that we saw compete at the New York Pro, guys that maybe didn't place well there or didn't do well enough there to qualify for the Olympia, trying to get points or qualify by doing these two shows. So you had the California Pro and you had the Puerto Rico Pro. So let's go ahead and start with the California Pro. So the California Pro is usually a pretty good show, and the guy that won this show really came out of nowhere. He's a lesser-known guy. He doesn't have as big of a following. His name is Patrick Moore. And I've got to say, honestly, looking back at the pictures from this competition, I think Patrick Moore is a really, really promising bodybuilding talent. I mean, everything about this guy's physique and his structure is what pretty much all of us have been looking for. I mean, he's got an insane V-taper. He can do a front double bicep with a vacuum pose. He's got really great lines. His conditioning was fantastic at this show. And I think really, like I said, he's just got a really streamlined physique and has just about everything you could ask for in a men's open pro bodybuilder. No gut by any stretch of the imagination. Some people that were sending me photos from this past weekend's California Pro were comparing his physique to like a Brian Buchanan of having that insanely small waist, but still having the size in the upper body. He has size in the legs, and that V-taper effect just out of this world. So Patrick Moore, I think we're going to see some really big things from this guy in the future. I think this was a tremendous feather in his cap winning this California Pro. I think this is not the last we're going to see of this guy winning shows, placing highly, and making big waves in the IFBB. I think this is a guy that definitely needs to be on the radar. He's a guy that I don't think this is going to be the last video I make about this guy. I think this guy's going to do some big things, and I'm really, really impressed by what we saw from him at this California Pro, and I just can't say enough, we should be watching out for this guy in the future. Now, coming in second at this California Pro, you had Tim Budashim. So this is the German bodybuilder that we saw at the New York Pro that everybody was talking about how crazy his conditioning was, and I think his conditioning looked even better here at the California Pro than it looked at the New York Pro. And I'm definitely starting to see the hype around this guy and what people are talking about as far as that grainy, gnarly conditioning being good enough to get him second place at a show like the California Pro. So congratulations to him. I think this was a big improvement in placings for him. I think he took 6th at the New York Pro, so definitely a step up from that competition. I'm sure we're going to see some big things from him as well. Yeah, Josh Wade in 3rd, Eddie Bracamontes in 4th, An Nguyen in 5th, and Camilo Diaz-Garzon in 6th. So a lot of guys coming over from the New York Pro, trying to get points, trying to qualify. And overall, California Pro, relatively good show this year. Now, the other show we had this past weekend, like I mentioned earlier, was the Puerto Rico Pro. And in this show, you also had some guys coming over from the New York Pro to try to win this show. You had Jon Delarosa winning this show. And if you want to talk about a redemption story and a guy really making some tremendous improvements between the New York Pro and this show, Jon Delarosa is your guy. I mean, I think Jon Delarosa looked fantastic here. I think his conditioning was markedly improved at this Puerto Rico Pro. Very deserving win here. You had Milan Sadik in 2nd. Again, another guy from the New York Pro, did very well here, looked very good here. But again, I think Jon Delarosa really deserved this victory, moving up from his placing at the New York Pro. I think he placed 4th there. You had Andre Musi in 3rd and Derek Upshaw in 4th. And again, I just want to say how happy I am for Jon Delarosa to see him make an improvement like this, win a show like this. I know he's had a really rough, past couple of years as far as competing and as far as his personal life. So congratulations to him. I think it's a really big deal, and I'm really happy to see him win a show like this. Now, another redemption story here. They also had a 212 category at this Puerto Rico Pro, and Eduardo Correa coming over from the New York Pro, a very disappointing second-place finish for him and his fans. A lot of people felt it was a controversial second-place finish. Eduardo Correa was able to win the 212 division at this Puerto Rico Pro in a lineup of 11 guys. A lot of guys that crossed over yet again from the New York Pro, so happy for Eduardo Correa to finally win that show. The New York Pro was his comeback after 3 years off of the stage. I think he was looking to win that New York Pro, probably very disappointed that he didn't. Probably very happy that he won this Puerto Rico Pro. All right, so next up in the news, I have a Calum von Moger update for you guys. So as you guys know, Calum von Moger had several injuries over the past couple of years that really set him back in terms of his physique. I believe he lost something like 50 or 60 pounds of muscle over the process of trying to recover from those injuries. So recently, he's been rebuilding his physique, trying to get back to competitive shape and really make a comeback in terms of competing and just being the Calum von Moger that we were used to seeing in the past, and the Calum von Moger that he originally built his following off of being. And the pictures that Calum's been posting lately, it appears he's put on a tremendous amount of size. In what appears to be a relatively short amount of time, I think Calum has done tremendous in terms of responding to whatever it is he's doing, whether it's the drugs or the training or the food. Calum von Moger's put on an insane amount of size. He looks like he's almost maybe 80 to 90% of where he used to be. I think it's only a matter of time before we see Calum von Moger looking like he used to look. I think the biggest question is going to be if he's going to be able to get his legs back, because that was the most dramatic injury that he had. And as far as competing is concerned, that's probably my biggest concern for Calum when he comes back, is if he's going to be able to regain the size in his legs, or if that's something that's going to be permanently hindered by that massive injury that he had in that cliff rappelling accident. But as far as the upper body goes, it looks to me like Calum von Moger is doing fantastic, and he's probably not slowing down anytime soon as far as putting that size back on. All right, so the final story that I have for you guys today is about Logan Paul and Generation Iron. We reported a couple news videos ago that Logan Paul and Generation Iron were going to be collaborating on a slap boxing documentary over in Russia, where Logan Paul was going to compete in this slap boxing competition. Generation Iron was going to help as far as networking and I guess to some degree sponsoring the documentary. And it was going to be kind of a big deal. Maverick Media put out a statement that said, "Dear Generation Iron and family, Due to an unforeseen and unfortunate event that took place during practice today, I've decided not to participate in the upcoming slap competition. Based on today's incident and the aftermath, it became clear that I don't have the desire to participate in an event that can result in serious injury to virtually anyone competing. I have the deepest respect for the sport and athletes involved. However, I feel my decision will preserve the health and wellness of everybody competing. I appreciate you taking the time to include me in the process and will absolutely continue to support the sport and your organization as a fan. Thank you for your understanding and mutual respect. Sincerely, Logan Paul. Now, I believe the reason for this statement by Logan Paul was this video that Logan Paul put out where he slapbox practicing this guy, and basically he just knocks the guy out with a slap, and that probably discouraged Logan and realized, that could be me laying on the ground at this competition because these guys, this is what they do. Logan Paul's barely even practiced. These guys are Russian slapboxing competitors. He probably got a little bit scared when he realized what he could do to somebody compared to what somebody might be able to do to him. So I can't say that I blame Logan Paul whatsoever because I would probably never do anything like that. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, Nick Strength and Power signing out.